white. So if I save that, that's what it's going to look like so far. And then let's add a, we'll say border. Let's do border bottom, so border B, and for the width of it, we'll say 8. And then for the color, we'll say border dash B dash blue dash 700, which is the same as the background. The lighter blue is actually going to go on this div, okay, just to give us the effect that we want. Now, let's see. Let's make this we'll say rounded dash LG. Okay, so we got our rounded corners, and then I think the rest of the stuff we're going to do on this are going to be the group hover. So let's go down to the div, and on this div, I'm going to add a class. This is where we're going to put our padding and stuff. So px8, and let's do py-4. And then I'm going to say BG blue, and we're going to make this a little lighter, so 500. Okay, so it gives us that effect. And then let's say rounded dash LG. All right, so now we want to have the hover effect where if we hover over it, then it's like this light blue comes down and goes over the darker blue. So we're going to add some group hovers. So group dash hover, and the first one we'll do is say border on the top, border top 8, and then no border on the bottom. So group dash hover colon, and border on the bottom will be 0. And then let's do group hover, and make the background say BG dash blue dash 700, and then also group dash hover, we'll say border on the top, so border T will be blue dash 700. And then finally we want to add a bit of shadow, so group hover colon and shadow LG, shadow large. So right now it does this, but what we'll do is on the div here, let's go to the end and let's add group dash hover, and we'll set BG to the blue dash 700. So now that goes away, or it doesn't go away, but it becomes the same color as the rest. So it has the effect of it going away. And then we'll add a duration, or a transition. Let's say we want to transition all, and the duration is going to be 150. And then let's also add on to this here, let's say duration 150. So now if we come down, now we get like a little delay or a little duration. Make it bigger. Good. So now we have, let me just bring this over. We have this part where it tells us what's in stock, and we also want this effect so that when I hover over it, we get this little animation. And then we have these two buttons as well. So let's go after the group. So the group ends right here, and then this is going to be the stock. So we're going to go ahead and make this flex box. We're going to align items dash center. We're going to space on the x-axis 3, and we're also going to add group here as well, class of group. And let's do a div with the class of, let's say, width dash 3 and height dash 3. And the background will be green. So I'm just making that green circle. So we'll do background green 400, and then rounded dash full, which will give us a circle. And I'm going to add on to this, actually let's just do that first, and then I'm going to add on to this a group dash hover, and set that to animate dash ping. Okay, remember we have animate spin, animate pulse, animate ping, and I think bounce. All right, and nothing has to go in here. Let's just save that. Okay, so now we have that little green dot, and if I hover over it, we get that effect. Now, right under that div, okay, including the closing div, nothing is going to go in that animate. We're going to go right under that, and we're going to add our text. So let's use text small for that. So text-sm, and we'll say 50 plus pieces in stock. Save that, and there we go. Okay, so the next thing is the two buttons at the bottom. So I'm going to go under the stock, which ends right here, and let's say bottom buttons container. Okay, so this is going to be flex dash call, at least to begin with, and then space on the Y will be 4 between the items, and on medium screens we want that space on the Y to be removed, and we want to add on medium screens space on the X to be 4. Okay, and we want to make sure that this is a row, so actually I'll just put it here. So MD colon flex dash row. All right, so that's the container. Now for the button, let's say button, and there's going to be quite a few classes. Buttons usually get a lot of classes, but this is going to have an image inside of it as well. So I'll just put that here now. It's going to be images slash and then weight. And as far as classes, I'm just going to put a sizing class on it. So let's say width or W-8. And then underneath that, we'll have a span and just say add to cart. Okay, so it's not going to look very good yet. But let's just add that, and then we'll add the classes onto this button here. So we're going to start off, we're going to make it flex because there are two items in it, the image and the span text. So I am going to make it flex and then align them with items dash center as well as justify dash center. Okay, we'll add some padding. So we'll do PY3 and let's do PX5. Space between, let's do 3, and then let's do a border. Border we'll do 2 for the border width, and then for the color we'll do border gray, say 300. All right, and then we're going to do a bunch of hover stuff here. Actually, let's save this as is first. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad, but we're going to add some hover stuff. So let's say hover colon. Actually, before we do hover, let's add rounded. We'll do rounded LG, and let's add a little bit of shadow. So we'll say shadow, we'll do shadow small just a little bit. And yeah, I think that should be good. So for hover, let's add a BG. We're going to say BG opacity. I don't know if we looked at this in the sandbox, but we can do this BG opacity 30. Just to show you. Actually, you can't really see any difference yet right now. But yeah, hover BG opacity 30. Let's do also hover. We'll make the shadow bigger. So shadow, let's do XL. So we'll go from shadow small to shadow XL. Or let's do large, actually, LG. And then I also want to move it a little bit. So on hover, we're going to do negative translate. Because we can do this. We can do translate on the y-axis 0.5. Okay. And then let's also add in a transition. We'll do transition all. And let's make the duration 150. Okay. So we get that effect where it's kind of like coming up off the page a little bit. And let's just make this bigger. All right, cool. So let's see, the other button, which is the add to wish list, is going to be very similar. So what I'll do is just copy this entire button and we'll put that right underneath, and then let's just change, this is going to be changed to heart, and we'll change this to, we'll say add to wish list. And then as far as the classes, I don't think we're going to do anything different here, so we'll just save that. And we have the same effects. Let's make this a little bigger. Cool. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. Pretty simple, but again, these projects are just to get you going with using the different classes and so on. All right, so in the next video, we're going to do, let's see, what should we do next? Going to do either the image gallery or the modal. I think we'll do the image gallery next.